Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has stated the priority now for Tottenham is Wolfsburg defender Mickey van der Ven. Bayer Leverkusen defender Tapsoba is a top option for Tottenham, but he will be way more expensive. The supporters club have stated they were told and not consulted about the increase on matchday ticket prices, and Spurs have replied and said we are only one of 3 clubs to freeze season ticket prices. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Let's start with an update from Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano. He has stated that Tottenham are speaking with the people close to Bayer Leverkusen defender Edmund Tapsoba. He has stated, in my opinion, that Tottenham will go for one of them, either him or Mickey van der Ven, then maybe sign another defender who is maybe a cheaper option. But at the moment, the priority for Spurs is Mickey van der Ven of Wolfsburg. He then states that Tapsoba remains one of the top options, but he's way more expensive. Now, lots of reports out about this story. This one is from the Daily Mail, and they are stating that the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust has criticised the club's plans to increase matchday prices for the 2023-2024 season. Spurs announced in April that season ticket prices would be frozen for the forthcoming campaign, the second year in a row that they had kept prices the same, with the cost of living crisis cited as a reason behind the decision. However, the Supporters Trust has revealed that they were told on Friday about an increase in matchday tickets that is due to be brought in for the upcoming season, while there is now set to be 6 Category A fixtures, the most expensive ticket, with Newcastle bumped up from Category B. In addition to describing the increase as successive, the Supporters Trust expressed their frustration over a lack of dialogue with the club. The Supporters Trust said, we are aware of the club's plans to increase matchday ticket prices for the 2023-2024 season. Our ticketing team was informed of the plans to increase matchday pricing on Friday morning. The club is aware that the Supporters Trust lobbied for a price freeze on all matchday pricing, and having been informed this on Friday morning, we, along with the wider fan base, have been told rather than consulted. This must change if dialogue is to happen and supporter input is genuinely desired. The club knows that this is something that the supporters club cannot support, and we feel an increase of this magnitude is excessive. Our match tickets are already amongst the most expensive in the Premier League, and fans should not have to dig further into their pockets when they're already seeing their living standards squeezed by the cost of living crisis. Whilst we recognise the increased operational costs and lack of European revenue for this coming season, we believe there are other ways that the club can generate this loss of income. This burden should never be pushed onto the match-going supporters. Now, interestingly, the Press Association news agency approached Tottenham Hotspur for comment, and a club spokesperson said, we are fully aware of the current rising cost of living, and as such are one of only 3 Premier League clubs to freeze season ticket prices for the coming season. The club spokesperson also said our match ticket prices are comparable to other London clubs, with a wide range of price points available for fans to choose from. Empoli boss Paolo Zanetti has been talking about his former goalkeeper Guglielmo Vicario, who of course has just signed for Spurs, and has stated Vicario is ready for a big deal. He would have been the perfect goalkeeper for Inter Milan. He is extremely talented and also has immense human qualities. In my opinion, Tottenham will not be a point of arrival for him, but a starting point. Tottenham Hotspur and Brazil attacker Richarlison has been talking about former head coach Antonio Conte and said, I made a mistake for doing an interview saying I needed game time. Later on, I apologised to him and said he could punish me. He told me off to show me that he was the commandant. It was his way to deal with it. Almost 2 hours scolding me in front of everybody there. Now, on Saturday, it was announced by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club that we have 4 fixture changes for August and September. The Manchester United home game remains on Saturday, the 19th of August. Kickoff time is now 5:30 p.m. live on Sky Sports. The Bournemouth away game remains on Saturday, the 26th of August. Kickoff time is now 12:30 p.m. That one is live on TNT Sports. The Arsenal game, the North London derby at the Emirates Stadium, will now take place on Sunday, the 24th of September. Kickoff time 2 p.m. That one is live on Sky Sports. And the Liverpool home game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium remains on Saturday the 30th of September. Kick-off time will now be 5:30 p.m. That one is live on Sky Sports. Now, my thoughts on these stories in today's episode, and I tell you what, they go hand in hand. Fabrizio Romano is stating pretty much that Spurs are going to go with the cheaper option. Tapsoba is a top option, but he will be way more expensive. So Mickey van der Ven is now a priority for Tottenham. And from what I understand and from what he said in the last couple of days, Spurs will only sign one of these players and not both of them. Of course, we know from various reports in the last couple of weeks that Spurs are interested in Adara Bioyo of Fulham. They can get him on a very cheap deal because his contract runs out in 12 months' time. And of course, we all know, and we've all seen the reports, and I've stated it on this channel many, many times, Spurs are hoping to nip in for Clement Longley, who is currently at Barcelona. Barcelona want him off their wage bill, and Spurs could end up getting him very, very cheap, if not on a free transfer. This is not the direction I think that we should be going in. We need to go out, we need to buy big, and we need to show real ambition in this transfer window. As I said on previous episodes, the window has been decent so far, but it's got to continue to be decent, especially the back line. The priority is the back line. This is where we need to invest the most money, in my opinion. And I know, and you know, I'm not stupid. You know, money sometimes don't get you real quality. You know, you can tell that. £42 million, Davinson Sanchez. He didn't quite to be the defender that we all thought he was going to be from Ajax for £42 million. He's not a £42 million defender, in my opinion. But it's all about the scouting network. It is all about identifying your targets. But how many times in recent history have the scouts done their job? They've identified great targets, really, really decent players, and we have not followed up because the players have been too expensive, apparently. You know, sometimes you just need to go out and sign the best. Sometimes you just need to go and get your first choice. How many times have all of us Spurs fans seen or heard that, you know, we've had to settle for third best, fourth best, fifth best, sixth best? It's not good enough. And that brings me on to talk about the ticket prices. When the fans at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium are paying top whack for ticket prices, we deserve the best. I say in a lot of interviews, you know, when I go on the likes of Sky Sports, TalkSport, etc., I always say, we deserve the best, we deserve a lot more. And some people come back and say, why do Spurs fans deserve trophies? Why do we deserve this, that and the other? Because we pay a lot of money to watch our football club. And, you know, these last few years we've gone round in circles. Some people may say that we've gone backwards. You know, when you look back in the last, 4 years or so since that Champions League final, we have gone backwards. We've gone through various different managers, 2 win-now managers, 2 serial-winning managers, Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte, not to mention Nuno Espirito Santo, and of course Ryan Mason has had a couple of interim spells as well, and we haven't been successful. In this transfer window, please, Tottenham Hotspur, back Ange Postecoglou in the best way possible, because, you know, even if, and I said this on a previous episode as well, even if Spurs were to go out and get Tapsoba and Van der Ven, which would be fantastic in my opinion, we still need to do more in the transfer window, and this rebuild must continue. There is no point having a great start to a transfer window and then we suddenly get players like Clement Longley in. That is not going to cut it. That is not going to take us forward as a football club. In my opinion, I always say that the target for any manager coming in at the football club, and I will definitely say that a conversation has probably been had between Daniel Levy and Postecoglou, and he's probably said, what's the target for next year? And Daniel Levy has probably given him quite an unrealistic target and said, the target is always top 4 here. we are not going to finish in the top 4 with the squad that we have currently got. Yes, we can score goals. Harry Kane is absolutely amazing going forward. 30 goals in 38 Premier League games last season, in a struggling side that finished 8th outside European places. Heung-min Son, we know that can deliver. Maddison is an absolutely fantastic signing. Vicario is a good goalkeeper, although unknown in the Premier League. But that defensive back line does really worry me. Of course, Romero is fantastic on his day, but the players around him at the back at the moment, who's playing alongside him in next week's, on the 18th of July? We're what, 8-9 days away of the first friendly against West Ham. Who's going to be playing against, the side of Romero in that game? Probably Eric Dyer. It'll be interesting to see whether Davinson Sanchez gets on that plane, because of course there's been interest in him. If you're going to look to get him out the door, there's no point him even getting on that plane. But going back to the ticket prices, I am so disappointed, because Spurs come out and said that they have frozen the season ticket prices. They have and they haven't. General admission prices, yes, they're frozen. From what I understand, they were going to put them up, and then they decided last minute to freeze them, because the fan base was so toxic at that time, back in April, when the season was still going on, and there were lots of protests, etc. But all of the premium seats, all of the executive seats, all of the box holders, etc., their prices have been increased significantly, and they have now increased the prices of the day tickets. So if you want to go to just one game in a season, or 2 games, 3 games, whatever, and you don't hold a season ticket, you will now be paying a lot more money for your seat. I do not agree with this whatsoever. And one thing that I am so frustrated with, and I've said this so often as well, is communication. Who is communicating from the very top to the fans? Nobody. And they have 2 avenues now, the club, of communication. Or actually, they have 3. They could put it out publicly on their website, Twitter, etc. They could go through the fan advisory board, or they could, of course, go through the supporters trust. It is very disappointing yet again to hear from the supporters trust that the club have not communicated with them. They haven't even consulted them. And as the supporters club or trust have actually said publicly, they were not consulted. They were just told. That is no way to run any business, to run any football club. The fans must be consulted, and these are representatives of the fans. The fan advisory board, that was actually announced on Friday, so they wouldn't have been told either. What a time for all of those guys on the fan advisory board to start. The fact that the fan advisory board and the trust weren't even told, or weren't even consulted, about the ticket prices. It is just like they've started the job, and they've said, yeah, the ticket prices are going up. I don't think it is a great start for them. So obviously, all of the fans on Twitter and other social media outlets, of course, everybody now will be putting pressure on the trust and be putting pressure on the brand new fan advisory board at Tottenham Hotspur to say, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to make change? That is exactly what you're there for, to ask questions, to delve a little bit deeper and say, why on earth is this happening? But communication, and I have said this before, I believe now we've got a fan advisory board, I believe that a lot of communication will go through the fan advisory board. So whatever happens in those meetings, that will be the way of communication. So it could work in Tottenham's favour in that way, that then all of us are then getting on to the fan advisory board saying, what about this and what about this and what about this, rather than the club actually communicating directly, as they probably should have done for many years. This is one thing that really does frustrate me about the club, that, the communication does need to be so much better. And why on earth should we, as Tottenham Hotspur fans, pay top prices to see some of the football that we have in the past couple of years? If we were playing super entertaining football, and that's probably why they've done it, they've probably seen that everybody is very happy about the transfer window so far. James Maddison had just signed. Of course, everybody was on a high. Everybody was super happy when Maddison, that announcement came out. So that's probably why they've done it. The timing is probably quite good on their part to do it. But I don't agree with it one bit. and I hope that the fan advisory board and the trust get somewhere with the club and somehow get them to reduce those prices, because if the general admission prices have not gone up, how on earth could you put the other prices up for one-off tickets, and how can you put the prices up for executive tickets, etc.? As I say, I don't agree with it one bit, and the communication needs to be a lot better. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on you Spurs.